Okay. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So we are from Group 1. Today we are gonna talk about how to write an effective business email. The Group 1 is consists of Edi Suhedi, Jona Abila, Ahmad Daud, Adinda Septiana, M. Nazre Hazura, and Iqbal Aldiansyah. And what are we talking about in this presentation? Today, we're going to talking about first, what should you do to make your business email looks professional? And the second one is the features in an email and how to use it. There is a subject, CC and BCC, email signature, email filter, and spam folder. And the third one is we're going to talk about the structures of business email. And the last one is we're going to talk about the tone and formality of the English use in a business email. So let's get started. What is email and what business email means? So email is a message distributed by electronic means from one computer user to one or more recipients via a network. And what the definition of business email? Unlike a personal email account, which can be used as you please, corporate email accounts are maintained and paid for by a company that wants the accounts used for business purposes. So, business email is a method of business communication, which plays an essential role in establishing relationship with our college, our partners, and our sponsors. What should you do to make your business email looks like a professional? First of all, we have to make a professional email address. Avoid an inappropriate types that not related to your job. Why? Because it may not look like a professional. And the second one is, it's better when you don't use a number to make your own email address. Just make it simple. Make it easy to remember. And any email address you choose should be simple enough for most people to remember. That's why using your name or your company name is often suggested. And the last one is make sure it's pronounceable. Your email address should be clear and easy to understand, and don't run words together and make people have to decipher what it says. So this is, for example, the differences between appropriate email address and inappropriate email address. As you can see, this is the differences between appropriate email address and inappropriate email address. And next, the next slide will be read by my friends, Adinda.
Thank you, Kak Jona. So I will explain about feature in an email and how to use it. There are several kinds of feature or parts that we often use in using business email. 1. Subject, 2. CC and BCC, 3. Email signature, 4. Email filter, and 5. Spam folder. Well, the next slide. Next slide. Sorry. Okay. Subject. An email subject line is the first text receive C after your sender name when an email reaches their inbox, it is important to keep an email subject line informative, catchy, and brief. Subject is the first thing the receipt of the email says, so if you don't write it down correctly and clearly, it can result in the receipt of the email deleting it without opening it first. Next slide. Okay. CC and BCC. CC stands for carbon copy, BCC stands for plain carbon copy. When you put an email address in the CC or carbon copy field, it means that a copy of the email you're sending will also be sent to that address. When you put an email address in the BCC or plain carbon copy field, it means that a copy of the email you're sending will also be sent to that address. But no one besides the email will be able to see the address in the BCC field. Email signature. An email signature is a block of text append to the end of an email message, which often contains the sender's name and contact information. An email signature often contains a name, business contact information, email address, a website URL. Next slide. Email filter. An email filter is a type of program that filters and sort email into different folders based on specific criteria. It provides a way to organize email into different categories automatically, such as separate folder or location for work, personal, subscription, and other services. Spam folder. The spam folder is the storage space in your email account for an unwanted email, for the email that failed to reach your inbox and are flagged as spam by email service provider ESPIs. It is also known as the pull folder or junk folder. Okay, the next slide is shared by my friend Mas Edi.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Adinda. Next, structure of business email. There are a structure of making an appropriate business email. Subject line, greeting, intro or purpose, style as action, closing or sign up. Next slide. Subject line. An email subject line is the first text received after your sender name when an email reaches their inbox. It is important to keep an email subject line informative, catchy, and brief. Why is an email subject line important? Half of the recipients tend to open an email of it has a catchy subject line, just like an article heading or a book's title. Email recipients will discard your text if it is not informative enough or looks spammy. That said, an email subject line must convey the necessary information in a right way. You don't want your email to be among the 69% of emails that are sent to spam because of the subject line alone. That makes it essential for beginners and established firms to take caution and deliver quality content. No one when their email to an off the task folder with the recipient opening it. Next slide. greeting. An email greeting is the opening line of an email. It sets the tone for the rest of the correspondence. Depending on your opener, it can convey professionalism, friendliness, warm, or a casual style. When writing in a professional context, it's difficult to err on the side of more professional email openers. You'll really have someone get upset because you were too formal. However, depending on the situation, you can often by being overly casual. The formal letters you when to use something more professional than hi first time. The best greeting for a formal letter is dear first name or last name. It shows respect, politeness, and demonstrates professionalism. With dear, you can include the recipient's title of you know it. Next, intro purpose. The opening sentence explain who you are, where you're from, and what you want. Of course, it can be challenging to fit all this in, but here's an example of how to start a business email. Remember, every business email should have a point and a purpose, so be clear about you and from the reader. Next.
Okay, thank you, Mas Edi. Next slide is a detail. In this part, we want to tell you that although the body contains detailed information, it is important to write clearly and concisely in a formal email. Remember, your reader is not familiar with you and may not be familiar with your topic. You don't want your email received to misunderstand an important point. Next. Action. In business and overall professional interaction with people, making requests is one of our top reasons for communicating through email. There are many situations where you will need to require action from others. For example, you may ask them to send you some certain document, ask them for an introduction, a reference, a payment request, ask them you have action toward a matter. Action requirement that you ask for, and yes, they can decline it. In this step of email, we must use polite and clear and sincere tone. Example, request information for your customer, request a meeting with your business partner. Next. Closing or signing off. A good email signing off is one that's tailored to the receipt, the topic, and the emotional tone of your email. A good email ending will give an emphasis on your main message relation to the email topic. The best signing off will also add a positive emotional tone that's considered by your specific reader to be socially appropriate. Title and company, you may include one or both of these as part of your email ending, depending on who you are contacting and why. If you are emailing someone outside of the organization you work for, including both, tell the receipt what you do and where you work. Okay. Next slide will be explained by